Okay, and this is Anna. Now, trying to tell anyone who listens to this guy what she feels you should be doing, or how you should proceed.
For some of the young men who might be watching, some of the young men who turn to people like Jordan Peterson for guidance, okay? Please don't. I understand how a lot of young people in this country, particularly young men, are feeling, okay? Our society has been dismantled in so many ways, our institutions.
Do you understand how we are feeling? That is like me saying I understand how it feels to be pregnant. You can't possibly understand. And you can empathize. You can sympathize. Well, you were not there. You were not in our bodies. So you do not know. Were you going to say how you understand how black people feel next? You're a woman. So be a woman. And choose your words more carefully.
Have been dismantled. It feels like there's no future. There's no hope. But if we fight together, we can fight for a better country, a better world. I know we can get there. Turning to someone who supports the very dismantling of the system that has caused so much pain and suffering ain't the answer.
Okay. And that's another point I wanted to get to. Supports. He supports it. Okay. All right. Let's see how he supports it. Right from the outset, this is what he says. Okay, here we go.
I want to say at the outset that I think what Putin has done is unconscionable. God only knows what the impact will be as all four of the horsemen of the apocalypse are on the march again. I also think that the collusion of the leadership of the Russian Orthodox Church is even more unforgivable. Be
that as it may, look, I mean, this is an hour-long presentation, and honestly, I don't have all the time to go into it all, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get copyrighted at some point here. But even if it's just to get the point across, and at some point after I'm dead in 15 years, if this has the possibility of getting monetized and it doesn't. So obviously they didn't show this on their feed, where he seemingly to me denounces the atrocities that Putin and the Putin regime, the Russian regime have committed in Ukraine, which is also why, which I guess I kind of got this line of phrasing from him. Always look at things in a multivariate way. The way we think, the way things are happening is never just how we think it is. There's always a spectrum of things that are going on. And what we've discovered over time is that, a lot of it is nefarious. A lot of it has to do with a lot of things, and a lot of things, that information of which we are not privy to. So here you have this man who is saying this, blah, 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 about the four horsemen. I don't know. I mean, he's got to be talking about like China, like Korea. I don't know, Japan and Russia. I don't know. Some of them, at least a few of them. But yeah, this guy has always thought in more than one way. People have consistently tried to paint him in this either like fascist or Naziist way of thinking, because a lot of the things that he said are thought-provoking, which bothers a lot of people who want to continue one train of thought. And if for 1 second you think this is not corrosive for these people who know I feel, and I'm still not denouncing what, like, blah blah blah, like we want to do a movement, we want to make things like better can follow us. All right, but you don't do that out of fear. You do it out of like hope and out of understanding and trying to understand more things than you haven't. Not by shutting them all down, and not by denying the things that you know are the fucking that are the truth, or that have a position rooted in the truth. You know this man is not a Nazi. You know this is more along the lines of the things he's been saying before, which have pricked people, which is the reason why he gets so under fire, because he says a lot of things that gets under a lot of people's skin. Because it's legitimate questioning. It's questioning based in legitimate facts that he already knows, that other people know, that a lot of things he brings lightward are things that a lot of people don't even want to discuss. So you guys, and you've done this before, like, you're by no means what some of the people have said you are, and just a disgusting fucking trumpet for the left. You're not that. I've heard you call out the left. I still watch you. I'm still subscribed to you, and I'm also subscribed to Jordan Peterson, because you all have good things to say. Now, I will definitely say this from my side: definitely more him than you. I've definitely heard more self-understanding and self-analysis and self-deprecation, which I'm definitely a fan of. If you want to learn and grow, gotta break yourself down a little bit, and build yourself back up better with something else, with something better, hopefully, all the time. And that's not necessarily something that you all are great at, and I'm completely with you in like wanting to shut down anyone who wants to sexually harass. I don't know all the ins and outs of the Jimmy Dore thing, but I could totally see him being someone who uses his comedic charisma to try to throw more shade on you and all of that, which is, to me, seems completely unfair. And that being said, I wasn't there for any of it, so all you motherfuckers could be lying. But I'm just telling you from the inflection that I hear from you and from him, and me having been around some smaller comedians, and the way they handle things, it's more easy for a person in comedy to come up with a charisma, if they're adept, if they're confident in this, that feeds their narrative, even if it is to the destruction or to the detriment of someone else. Who gives a fuck what you were wearing? No one deserves to be able to fucking look up your skirt and say whatever type of thing if something has not been established between the two of you as a decorum that you both present yourselves under. If the decorum is horseplay and all that stuff, I also think that has validation. But it obviously seems to me that it was not that. And so therefore, I side with you on that. I don't have any ill feelings against Jimmy Dore, other than that this seems a bit tasteless on his part. And I completely understand why you wanted to announce any of that in your place of work. So there's a lot of things that I agree with you guys on. That was just one of the more recent things that I've gotten to watch and see. But yeah, so I agree with that. But on the same token, I think I also agree with Jordan. And like I said, I don't agree with everything that he says. And then another thing is to sit there and say, "Don't listen to this person, young man. He's not going to get you laid." I don't know if she actually said that in this particular one, but she definitely says he's not going to get you laid. I'm a woman, trust me. Okay, so now what? Are we supposed to look at you as like a hot woman and And if anyone wants to have any chance with someone like you, they shouldn't listen to Jordan Peterson. All right, first of all, that's bad to even insinuate that, and I don't like the undercutting of a person's consciousness, that presents, the subconscious level that is possibly invoked in some Neanderthalic, are men that are ruled by the balls more than the head. I don't like what that represents, or partially presents, and I think more on the lines of you should talk to everyone. Like, you shouldn't talk to Jeffrey Dahmer about fucking, oh, so what tastes better, fucking mulatto or German? Like, it shouldn't be that, but when we're talking on the lines of what we understand morally and everything, and if we want to learn more about what that means to all of us, then you should present yourself with more opportunities to learn from any spot that you can. And if something does prick you, that should be the thing you lean towards, because you should want to learn more about that and the reason why. You might learn about yourself, and I can guarantee this. Learning about yourself will help you learn a lot more about a lot of other things. Not fast, slowly, organically, but it will help. What won't is shutting that off and then detrimentally trying to tell other people that they shouldn't. You got to understand that makes you part of the woke thing that he's talking about, which is to shut everything down. It's funny because the woke movement is so hypocritical, as in, we are now waking up to these things that no one should do, so if anyone represents these things, we destroy them. Is that not the opposite of what being woke is and acceptance is? Is to destroy the thing that you're saying is not being acceptable? Is that not you being unacceptable? And he's not saying anything. He's not pointing the guns at the Ukrainians, who, by the way, it's not like they're saints in all this. It's not like there wasn't propaganda in all of their actions, too. Or at the very least in some of them. Not all of them. Some of them. Very real people are being killed over there, and that is no good ever. But that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. And that's, it's supposed to be a progressive platform that you all want to represent. And once again, I agree with the sexual harassment angle. No good. Trying to play off of that, no good. Okay? But off a dialogue off of a conversation of what we are morally and how that affects things and all that, that's just another conversation that, by the way, you don't have to tune into. But to denounce, to me, speaks more about what you all know something is wrong with. And you're afraid to let that message get out. Or at the very least, it pricks you. No one knows me. There's going to be 3 people that watch this fucking thing. But yeah, feel free to fucking come with me. I guaranteed you're going to be able to find something that's not savory. I said a lot of horrible things. But it doesn't change the fact that what I'm saying is more than likely the truth. You know that. And once again, I can say that I could be wrong. Just a fucking clown in this living room, fighting off roaches.